Gift Biz Unwrapped, episode 43.
I love being out and hearing the little cha-ching.
Hi, this is John Lee Dumas of Entrepreneur on Fire, and you're listening to Gift Biz Unwrapped, and now it's time to light it up.
Welcome to Gift Biz Unwrapped, your source for industry-specific insights and advice to develop and grow your business. And now, here's your host, Sue Monheit.
Hi there, I'm Sue, and welcome to the Gift Biz Unwrapped podcast. Whether you own a brick and mortar shop, or you sell online, or are just getting started, you'll discover new insight to gain traction and to grow your business. And today, I have brought to you Kerry Boozenny. Kerry is the founder of Social Selling Mom, where she teaches people how to make a significant part-time income selling on eBay. Kerry is an eBay education specialist trained directly by eBay and is a top-rated seller. She's been on eBay Radio and in eBay's YouTube video called We Are eBay. Kerry started her career as a menswear designer for major brands in the fashion industry. Today, known as elegantkb on eBay, she's made enough money selling part-time to pay for her daughter's college education. How about that? Based on this success, Kerry created Social Selling Mom to teach others how to support their families. Her favorite e-commerce site by far is, guess what? eBay. She believes that there are endless opportunities there for people to make money and help those they care about. She is also the eBay for Charity coordinator at Marin School of the Arts. Kerry, welcome to the show.
Hi, Sue. Thanks for having me.
Would you like to add anything to that intro before we get started?
No, I think that was a good intro. Thanks so much.
Well, it is exciting to hear about eBay, and I cannot wait to get started. As our listeners know, we like to align the conversation around the life of a motivational candle. It kind of gives us a little bit of a subtle, different kind of view of you. The light shines on you while you share your stories and experiences. So, Kerry, are you ready to light it up?
I am ready.
Wonderful. Well, let's start with a motivational candle. I'm going to pretend like I'm on eBay and I am looking for some beautiful candles, and I happened upon a site because you just happen to have a candle site. You didn't know that, now did you?
Did not know.
If you were to tell me which candle to purchase, what color would it be and what would be the quote?
Well, I love the openness of a classic white candle. When it's lit and the flame is there, it symbolizes openness and peace and love. And the quote is, use what you have. The full quote goes, start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. That is from Arthur Ashe, who was a tennis player.
Tell me a little bit about how you would apply that quote.
Well, I really believe in using resources to the fullest potential. And I'll talk a little bit more about eBay resources, but that's how I've been able to be a really busy mom, have a full-time job, and have a part-time business where I was able to make enough money to do things for my family. Being able to be smart about using the resources and really looking at what you have. And sometimes it's not physical things or items. It's sometimes the knowledge that you have inside of you or the desire that you have.
Got it. Well, listen, I am not wasting any more time because I know all of us are really interested in hearing what you have to say about eBay. But before we get started, we've talked a little bit about who our audience was pre-interview, so you can have a feel for that already. But would you describe who this conversation is for in terms of potentially considering being a user of selling on eBay?
Sure. I really feel like this eBay site is especially wonderful for people who are creative and do hobbies and crafts. Almost everybody that I talk to who has a creative hobby looks and shops on eBay for supplies because they know they can get very nice deals on the site. Many of the sellers don't have high overhead, so they're able to pass deals along to their customers. And I've sold craft supplies and sewing notions and goodies like that. What's great is it is a community. And so if you're a crafter and if you want to sell things that you make, if you want to sell customized products that you make, eBay is an excellent place.
So that pretty much sounds like all of our listeners, actually. Okay, so let's back up, and I want to talk a little bit just about history of how you landed on eBay as the best e-commerce site. Just give us a little bit of your journey of how you discovered eBay and how you got started.
For me, again, it goes back to family. We lost a dear loved one, someone who was a quilter, crafter, and collector. And at that point in time, I just felt that all of these wonderful things should go to people that will care for them and give them their second life. I don't want to put anything into a waste bin and send it out. There was a collection of books, crafting and cookbooks, and I said, you know what, let me just see what happens. I posted some of them on eBay, and this was a while back, so books were still a very valuable item. And overnight, one of the books that I had, it turned out was a first edition. It was a dessert cookbook, and the bids had gone up to over $90.
Wow.
So, yeah, so
that opened your eyes.
Yes. So, and that is one thing that's really unique about eBay is that there's the potential to sell at auction. It really can drive the price to a point where sometimes you can't believe it.
A very heartwarming story, actually, to be able to take something that was so precious within your family and make sure you can place it in the hands of somebody who's really going to care about it.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
All right. And so then you started learning the ins and outs. Let's keep walking this path. What happened from there?
That's true. And then because of my background in the fashion industry and my knowledge of sewing, started selling clothing and accessories and things that people would give me or things that I had. And even as my children grew out of, a certain kind of toy, they wanted to sell their toys on eBay so that they could get a new toy. It was time to get rid of the Polly Pockets and move on to the video games or whatever. So it was something that I was able to do part-time, and then it evolved into more of a consignment selling business. So I've tried a little bit of that. And in doing that, I've sold everything from motorcycle parts to stoves to larger pieces of furniture, chairs. Once I got this eBay bug, I'm like, oh, I'm going to try that. And then at one point, I said, well, I have all this knowledge. I really think that other people would see the opportunity of eBay if I could show them. And that's how I got into the eBay Education Specialist program.
Got it. Okay,
yeah.
That's great because that gives us a little background and understanding of how you started on eBay and then lays the groundwork for what you're going to share with us.
Right.
So let's talk about it. Why would you be choosing eBay over other platforms? Or what do you see as the value of eBay if other people haven't considered there before?
What I find with eBay is that there is a huge community of shoppers. So when I put something on there, if it's something unique or something that somebody needs, there's 157 million active buyers on that site.
Wow, that's a few.
Yes, a few. So what I feel is when I go on eBay, I actively look for something. I know, how much money I want to spend today because I'm looking for an item, or I see something, oh, that's a great deal. So I think there's people on there in the mindset of shopping. Some of the other shopping sites, I feel like there are a lot of lookers, and there's also some larger fees. So the simplicity of eBay, it's easy to list. You can do it from your mobile, and they've gotten rid of any fees that you have to pay up front to list. As a new person on eBay, you can list up to 50 auctions per month for free. And then you pay a little fee on the end, a final value selling fee. So there's really very little overhead in getting started except for your time. But now that you can take the pictures on the mobile and list from your mobile, you don't have to be tied down to a desk.
Okay, so just make sure I understand this, because I have never sold anything on eBay, but you can set up an account and sell up to 50 items at no cost each month, right?
At no initial cost, right.
At no initial cost. And then you don't pay anything up front, but once that month is over, anything you've actually sold, there's some type of amount that they pull out.
Yeah, and I can't get into the fee structure because it's very different based on which categories you sell in. But there is a small commission on that side and on the PayPal side. But overall, really, your overhead, your startup costs are very small, and you can test all kinds of things. because if you put something up as an auction and it doesn't sell, you didn't pay anything. It was just a little bit of time invested.
Right.
But if you put up something for auction or even a fixed price listing, which doesn't go into the bidding process, and you get sales, you now know that there's a market for that item, and then you can run with that and try all different kinds of variations. So it's a really nice place to try things where you can get cash flow relatively quickly. eBay also has a seller protection policy. Basically, as long as you describe the items accurately and ship within the amount of time that you've promised, you're covered. The person on the other end could claim they didn't receive it, but you're still going to get paid.
Got it. So you talk about how you've been so successful that just doing this part-time, you've been able to pay for your daughter's college.
Right, which is exciting.
It's so exciting. And we don't need to use specifically your example, but if someone were to do this, let's say nighttime weekends, because they have a job during the day already. So they may even just be testing out their product just to see if people would be interested in it before they went full force into opening a shop or, something like that, meaning a retail shop. But let's say they were selling just part-time at night and maybe on the weekends. Can you equate some type of hour input to dollars out? Like, what's possible on eBay?
What you need to do is kind of figure out the sweet spot. What I do is I start with research, and I like to sell things for at least $25 to $35 based on how much I paid for them and how much I'm going to put my time into it. So what you would have to do to make $2,000 a month on eBay is to find the inventory that adds up to that amount and then spend time listing it. It's not that hard to do if you have items that are going to sell. And the main part that I wanted to stress was really the research. Because there's so much activity on that site, on eBay, you can easily do searches and look at what has sold in the past. I actually have a step-by-step guide and some pictures that I'd like to offer as a free gift for your listeners where they can see in detail how to do that. Because it's really, if you can research it and you have similar items, those are the type of things that you want to try. And sometimes you want to try really unique things. For example, there are personalized items, there are customized items, and you could even bundle things like having a craft kit of some type with a booklet that you've written and really make it something special.
Okay, so we're going to talk about your freebie more at the end. That's very generous of you. Thank you so much. So we'll get all the details on that before we're done here. Let's talk just a little bit more about the types of products you think do work on eBay, and if there's anything that you think doesn't really work from your experience.
From my experience, if you want to get a little significant income going, what I think doesn't work is having a garage sale, what I call garage sale mentality. We're not selling things for $1 or $5. You want to get products that are unique, that are desirable, and you want to set a nice asking price for those. So, of course, all kinds of brand items, fashion items, Banana Republic, Uggs, Vera Bradley. There's a lot of higher-end designer brands that sell really well. Levi's, casual wear. So those, I'm going into the clothing area because I've sold a lot of clothing and shoes on eBay. So that's a great way to get cash flow. But then there's more specialized items, things that you create yourself. Or in my case, I had a lot of vintage sewing notions, and people are collecting that. There are trends right now where lace is popular, and you can go in and sell bundles of lace. You can also do things with putting together lots. So I have a lot of higher end, nicer vintage jewelry pieces that I can sell individually. But then I also have a bunch of jewelry pieces that I could put into a lot, put it on auction, and people can use that for crafting. So that's what I mean about being really unique and creative. Those things are just sitting here. It's a nice collection. I'm not going to have the time to use those things in my crafts. So I'll put those on eBay and get a little cash flow, and somebody has a beautiful batch of buttons or rhinestone pins that they can craft with.
That's a great idea. It's also brought to mind to me something that I hadn't really even thought of until you started talking, and that is, Gift Biz listeners, if you have a retail shop or a craft room, let's start with the retail shop, and it's end of the season, and you have stuff that just didn't sell through the season, and you have one of this and two of this, and just random things, what a great place to go ahead and get rid of that inventory. Just post it right on eBay. So it kind of complements what you're already doing in shop and moving it out so that you have space for the new collections that you're bringing in. So that could be a great option. I'm also thinking of someone like a knitting shop or quilters. If you, again, just have some random bolts left over, or you've cut them into squares for quilting, or just, you'd used them for a yarn class and you have semi portions of yarn. Like Kerry's saying, put them into a lot and get rid of them. I mean, what a great option. And crafters always need a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So perfect way for you guys to clean up shop a little bit and make money at the same time.
Wow, Sue. That's great. There's really lots of ideas. Do some research. And if you are a brick and mortar and you do sell some clearance or lots or even some regular merchandise, you can brand yourself in that package. Even though they purchased on eBay, you can put a note card in that package that you ship out and tell them to call you, look on your online store, and give offers for them to keep coming back to you, either on your eBay store, maybe exclusive monthly or weekly auctions where they can get great deals, or bring them over into your brick and mortar.
Or the website. If they like what they're seeing and they want more, that's an excellent idea. And that's really good, because I was thinking just eBay as being one-off sale here, one-off sale there. But I could see where you could build loyal customers depending on whether they continually need your product.
That's true. And as you know, you can keep eBay open 24/7. So you can go to a conference or go off to a scrapbooking, retreat and leave your shop open. And I love being out on the weekend and hearing on my cell phone the little cha-ching.
Oh, is that what happens when you get a sale? Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that.
Yes.
What fun.
Yeah, so then it's like, oh, that's fine because I'll just ship on Monday. Or you can also have people that you can train to ship, or, if you're going to be away for extended time. But it's just another channel for you to build customers and to test products, to test things like the lots, to test bundled items, and definitely custom items and personalized products. They are on eBay. I see people ordering invitations. There's a lot of printables that can be sold as well.
Interesting. Yeah, so it is. That's where the whole research comes into play.
Exactly.
You probably have a lot of products you're not even thinking would fly on eBay, but there's a whole testing ground to see if it's true or not.
That's right. That's the beauty of it. It's that you can do it for very low cost. And then, just make sure you study your shipping methods. Initially, you want to ship things that are easy to ship. I wouldn't recommend starting off with really fragile glass champagne flutes, things that I've done with no problem, but it's so much, I'm just kind of like on edge until I hear that the package arrives.
Yeah.
You want to start with things that are regular size, unbreakable, and not over a couple of pounds. I use USPS free packaging, and with that, it's super easy because you buy your shipping label right through the eBay site, and the tracking number gets uploaded right there, so your customer knows exactly when it was shipped. They can click on the tracking number and see that the package is on the way.
Perfect. What a nice, smooth system that is.
Yeah, it's pretty smooth.
Gift Biz listeners, one other idea for you guys that I used to use in the past when I was shipping pretty delicate pieces that I needed to make sure arrived on the other end properly. To test my shipping methods, I would ship to myself or ship to a relative across country and have them take a picture when they opened the box. So a couple ideas for you if you're not exactly sure how to ship. Okay, so now, Kerry, I think we've whet the palate of everybody about potential opportunities here with eBay. How would someone get started? Are there 3 steps that you suggest for someone who's never done anything? They might have purchased before, but they would just be getting started for their business. What would the steps be that they should take?
So if you really, really back up to the baby steps, okay, so make sure you have a PayPal account. That is the safest way to pay. Almost everybody on eBay, accepts PayPal. when you go to do your research, you must set up your eBay account, because there are going to be people listening that have an eBay account, but they're not set up as a seller. So what you need to do is change your account to a seller account and link it to the PayPal account. And what that will give you the ability to, when you search, you can see completed and sold items, because you're not interested so much in what's for sale on eBay. People mark their things really high. They mark their things really low. Everybody has a different scenario. But you want to see what the marketplace rate is for something. You need to look at sold items.
So just to clarify, if I already had an eBay account and I wanted to go on, I would reclaim my account as a seller?
Right.
Or do you create another account? A separate account?
I know people that do have multiple accounts, but to keep things simple, I would say just make your account a seller account. It's not going to be really visible to anybody but you.
And then you could purchase or sell off of that account then.
Exactly. And, my very next thing would be now, as you said, shipping to yourself to see how it comes. My very next thing that I tell everybody that I train is, okay, now you're set up. Let's do some research. Next, let's go shopping, because you want to know what the process is like.
Yeah, you want to experience it from the buyer's standpoint.
And there's almost always something you can get on there. There's water filters or printer cartridges or whatever. Or you could buy something nice for yourself. Once you get shopping, you'll get a couple of feedback. People will leave feedback for you. And you'll start seeing how it is being a member of eBay. And then once you have your research done, really, you can go ahead and get the listing written. Once you're in the double digits on your feedback, you are really ready to do some of the things we talked about. Test some new products and try selling some clearance items.
All right. We're not going to go into all of this on this call because I know, I like to keep it within a certain amount of time, and I know your time is short today, Kerry. But do you then, would a next step after all of this, after you're established on the platform, you're confident, do you then, by any chance, promote your site over through social media networks like Facebook or anywhere else to drive people over to eBay?
I absolutely do. And I will tell you, some of the sites that I find huge success with are my own personal blog.
Oh, good. Okay.
I look at the traffic reports on eBay. If you have a blog and you just put up listed today, and, I was doing vintage sewing patterns, and there's collectors out there for those. And then I would just put basically a picture the same picture I used on eBay, and I would say, here's what I have listed today. I really like this one because da-da-da, and find it on eBay. That was working for me. They would actually search for vintage apron pattern. They'd come to my blog and then click over to eBay and see that I had more vintage patterns. So if you have a blog, be sure to include a section of your blog for your eBay postings. And then Pinterest is excellent. They make it easy. And I also think the people on Pinterest are open to shopping. And Twitter. I don't just do an RSS feed on Twitter of my listings. So you'll see some people doing that on eBay. I actually like to put a couple of product photos and say, this is a really nice product, or, just give it a little bit more of a tweet, basically. So that way I get people back to eBay. And I also use Instagram as a great way to showcase products. So you do what you can. That goes back to my quote of just, doing what you can. But those are the top things I do to promote.
Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to overwhelm our listeners either. I'm just closing the loop that just when you're up and selling, there are more opportunities to increase your sales too through free media platforms, such as all the ones Kerry just listed.
Excellent.
All right, Kerry, we're going to move on into our reflection section. If you can think back, what is a natural trait that you possess that you think has helped you to get to the place that you are now?
I've always been big on learning new things. So once I get started, I'm like, oh, I've got to learn that. I've got to learn this. So like I said, I started selling one type of item on eBay, and then I'm like, oh, maybe I should learn how to sell on eBay Auto. For some reason, I'm selling motorcycle parts. I have this hunger inside of me to learn more about things and to constantly be trying new things. eBay really stuck with me because I was able to be successful in the things that I tried. And I really feel like I said earlier, once I get that inside of me and I get really excited about it, I want to share what I've learned.
Got it. And what tool do you use regularly, let's say, besides eBay now, to keep you, and let's focus on just the business aspect, I think, because this will be helpful, to keep you productive and moving forward?
I would say a tool for productivity is staying organized. And I use Google Drive. I set up folders in there to keep myself organized with the photos of products that I have listed, the photos with products that I've sold. I keep records of the product descriptions in case I come across another similar item. I can just put that in there. So I really like Google Drive and the fact that I can access it from my computer or from my phone, because I'm doing things like taking the description and putting that into a blog post. I can just kind of copy and paste that as I need to.
No need to do the work twice, that's for sure.
Exactly. So I really, really appreciate like a cloud-based storage system.
Yeah, that was a great one, especially for what we've been talking about here, how it applies to eBay. What book have you read lately that you think our listeners could find value in?
I really like Brené Brown's work. It's a longer title, but it's Daring Greatly is basically about doing things like you said in your podcast, pushing yourself beyond what you think, driving yourself to a higher place and doing so with confidence. That's been a great book. I wish it wasn't short. I want to read it again. So.
Well, you always can.
Yes, I can.
No harm in reading it again.
I would recommend that, though.
Well, Gift Biz listeners, as you know, and as you're listening to the podcast today, you can also listen to audiobooks with ease. I've teamed up with Audible, and you can get a free audiobook just like the one that Kerry's recommending. All you need to do is go to giftbizbook.com and make a selection, or you might even be able to go on eBay and find a book that you're looking at. But a free one's over at giftbizbook.com. All right, let's talk a little bit about how our listeners could get in touch with you and specifically take advantage of that free product that you are offering everybody. So let's go through that, and then we will end with our Dare to Dream question.
Sounds good. So my website is socialsellingmom.com, and you can email me there. And please take advantage of the guide that I put together that's giving you tips for successful eBay selling.
You can grab Kerry's guide over at bit.ly/eBay5.
And you'll see some screenshots and some really good suggestions and ideas for selling online.
Wonderful. And Gift Biz listeners, as you know, you'll be able to jump over to the show notes page. We'll have all of that information ready for you. Don't stop, pull by the side of the road, try and copy that down while you're driving any of that or walking the dog. You may run into another dog, I don't know, but we'll have that all over on the show notes page for you. All right, Kerry, at this point, I would like to present you with a virtual gift. This is your magical box containing unlimited possibilities for what you'd like for the future. This is your dream or your goal of almost unreachable heights that you would wish to obtain. Please accept this gift and open it in our presence. What is inside?
Thank you for the gift. Inside, I would like the opportunity to continue learning to the end of my days. I feel like when I learn, I get motivated, inspired, and it leads to all kinds of opportunities, some of which I can put into practice and make some money, do things that I like to do, but it all is based on getting ideas and getting inspiration and having time to keep on learning. And with the learnings that I pick up, I want to turn around and motivate, inspire, and share with others.
I love your gift, and you know why? It's totally in your grasp because it's in your control. This is one that you can absolutely do. You don't need anybody else to have this come alive for you. So that's awesome. Kerry, thank you so much. I really appreciate this deep dive into eBay. I think it's opened my eyes in terms of what the opportunities are there that I'd never really thought of before. And, you know, you've given us some concrete steps on what we could do to get started and just a whole bunch of valuable information, including your free guide. Thank you on behalf of all of our listeners, and may your candle always burn bright.
Well, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Learn how to work smarter while developing and growing your business. Download our guide called 25 Free Tools to Enhance Your Business and Life It's our gift to you and available at giftbizunwrapped.com/tools. Thanks for listening, and be sure to join us for the next episode.
After you listen to the show, if you like what you're hearing, make sure to jump over and subscribe to the show on iTunes. That way you'll automatically get the newest episodes when they go live. And thank you to those who have already left a rating and review. By subscribing, rating, and reviewing, you help to increase the visibility of Gift Biz Unwrapped. It's a great way to pay it forward to help others with their entrepreneurial journey as well.
Today's show is sponsored by the Ribbon Print Company. Looking for a new income source for your gift business? Customization is more popular now than ever. Brand your products with your logo, or print a Happy Birthday Jessica ribbon to add to a gift right at checkout. It's all done right in your shop or craft studio in seconds. Check out theribbonprintcompany.com for more information.